Hello, everyone. I'm Missy Shipman with Missy's Glad Heart Studio, and I'm delighted again to partner with Julia at the Baldwinsville Public Library to bring you our monthly Zoom and Facebook and YouTube virtual card making workshop. So thanks to those of you who are joining us live or catching the replay. We love when you let us know you're here or add comments so we know that you're enjoying the content. If you have any questions or suggestions for things you'd like to learn, I love questions help me learn things, and it's fun to have a challenge of a new project. So please give us your feedback. Tonight, we are going to be making 3 projects, but I want to, before we jump into those projects, I want to thank our friend Nancy Smith, who shared with me a really fun recycling project that I want to share. And remind you that there are materials at Julia's office at the library that you can pick up to make one of these desk organizers yourself. So this is a very large one that's made with cereal boxes. And Nancy had some great ideas to use this as a daily mail sorter, or a card sending box, or a card making box where you can organize your supplies. So I want to show you one that I have almost completed. And this is made with snack boxes like Wheat Thins or Triscuits, that size snack box. And Nancy suggested if you start by putting 3 boxes or however many you want, you can do 1, 2, or multiple boxes. First taping them together with mailing tape, clear mailing tape. And then you measure 6 inches for the front box, make a mark, and then a line up to the top where the top of the 3rd box, or however many boxes you're working with. And that'll make a nice, neat angle for you to work with. So you'll see on the one that I've worked some more on, I've added some of our designer series paper, the colorful pattern papers, and you did have some of that in your consumable kit. If you picked it up from the library this month, you have several sheets of the 12 by 12 designer series paper. And I just love how these particular papers work well together with their bright, vibrant colors and patterns. And so I have wrapped them around the box. And then you'll see I have these spaces where the paper meets, and there might be a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to teach you a trick on how you can create this sort of binding here on the sides. It reminds me a little bit about like bias tape on a quilt, or if you were to work with furniture, there might be that kind of buffer where seams come together. So to make that, I took my designer series paper and my trimmer, and I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch. And the scoring blade is the gray blade on my cutting machine. I'm going to score, and then I'm going to move the paper over to the 1 inch, and then I'm going to cut. So now I have a 1 inch strip that's scored in the middle so that I can fold it over to be kind of like that bias tape. You'll see I've got the score line, and I can just fold it this way. I can use my bone folder or the back of a spoon or my fingers to help make that a smooth fold. Now, for most of my construction on my box, I use the green glue. This gives me a little wiggle room, so you don't need a lot of glue, but as you position it on your paper, then onto the paper and then onto the box, you have a few moments to wiggle it and smooth it out. But for the edge piece, I'm going to use what's called tear and tape. This dries really quickly, and it will be fast for me to show you on camera. So I'm going to cut my strip now. I have the one that I showed you that I folded in half. Here's one I did ahead of time. And I put some tear and tape on there along the inside here. I'm going to put it on both sides. I'll show you. Tear and tape is a great adhesive because it's neat and there's no dry time for it. So it's an immediate dry. And it'll simply just peel off the wax liner when you want to expose the double-sided tape. So I'll take that. I want to leave a little below my project and a little above. Cut that off, and then I can adhere my strip. Now, because I've made that nice crease line, I can just fold it up against the box edge and secure that. Then take away the other strip. and fold it. And so now I'm covering up that exposed edge here where the seams of my paper is. I just think it looks more polished and adds more color and design, and also just covers that up. Now, what you'll want to do to put it down onto the bottom is just cut a little V away at the corner, just trim a little clip where that fold line is. And then we can fold over these little pieces. And if there's still some tape on there, they'll stick just fine. But I also found that some Scotch tape works well to secure these pieces neatly and easily onto the cardboard like that. Same thing at the top. I'm just going to trim a little V away, and then I can fold down the paper. Now you'll see different pieces are going to be showing at different times. But I want to show you a way if I did that seam first, when I put the blue paper on top, it will cover it. So what I did to just cover part of the dividers, not the full piece down the paper, but partially, is take a piece of paper, and now mine's missing. I can't find it, but I have a piece. I can cut a new one. Let's see if it's in my box. Nope, might be in here. Nope, it's hiding. I'll cut a new piece though, so I can show you. So I have a piece that's the width of the box. And that was, I think, right about 5.5 inches. Let me try to remember here. I'm going to measure it 5.5. Let's see if that's about the right width here. It's a little bit long. So you'll find when you're doing this, if you're working with recycled materials, there's going to be some variation from brand to brand and box to box. So take your time, pull out your paper scraps, your ribbon trim, anything that you want to use to decorate your box. But I'm going to take a piece and let's see here. I will cut off maybe about 4 inches and then score this in half. And what I'm doing is just making a little cover for the divider here so that less of the cardboard shows. It doesn't offend me to have the cardboard show, but it is fun to have the color. So I'm just adding little pieces. And once that's tucked in place, you can just use your green glue or your tear and tape to secure it in that way. Now, the trick with the cutting those little V's is so that you can have your paper fold down over these dividers. Because remember, this is 2 boxes glued together. So here's another showing of that. The box right here, I have to have the paper fold over, and it needs to have a little give here where that cardboard is. So that's when I use the
folded over piece.
Folded over piece, yes. So for example, when I'm putting the piece on the sides, I would make it a little bit longer to wrap, but I did trim that off. I want to keep a little at the bottom of the box so it can wrap over. And then I want to keep a little above the fold. So let's just cut this. I'll show you just this one more trick, and then we'll go ahead and work on our projects for tonight. I'm going to just slice across here so that I have a little bit taller than my box, and I'll be able to fold it over. What I want to show you, actually, I didn't make it quite tall enough, but I want to show you how to make those V folds at the top. So let's I know it's awkward to see on camera here. Thanks for your patience. I want to show you, I'm going to just take some tear and tape and put it across the top here, and then another piece a little bit down. So the down piece, I'll remove and put that along the box here. Okay. There. Now what I can do is show you where you make those little V cuts again. Wherever that seam is of the 2 boxes coming together, just make a little V cut so that the paper is going to be able to wrap around there. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So then I can remove that tear and tape or use my green glue and just fold it over. And that will help make a nice seam at the top. Again, it's really up to you how much you line the inside of the box, because you can add strips of paper down in the bottom and then save that wrap over piece until last. So it kind of covers up the seams.
You wouldn't want it to look unseemly.
Unseemly, haha, but that's right. So that's just how you can create that piece along the edge where those dividers meet. Okay, so I encourage you, if you haven't yet picked up one at the library, Nancy has put together several of them for us so that they're at Julia's office in different sizes. Some are one box. She used contact paper, which is another great way to cover it. Contact paper is also nice because it can be wiped down. So if it's in a space where there'll be any moisture or ink or thing stray art supplies, you could wipe that off. But I just thought this was a really lovely idea to upcycle our materials and add a little bit of color and splash to our organization. And you don't have to buy fancy organizer supplies for your arts and crafts keeping. You can create your own and make them match your decor. You could also use gift wrap, Nancy suggests, or any recycled papers that you have, or even fabric. So it's a lot of fun. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing this idea with us. And if you make a box for yourself, I hope you'll share it with us. You can post a picture in the comments, and we would love to see it. Or stop by at the library when I'm there on the Friday morning, once a month, for our in-person class. And that's tomorrow at the library. You can get a kit to make 6 to 10 cards. I have a lot of good holiday kits available for tomorrow, as well as all occasion, birthday, thank you, and so on. Now let's jump to our projects for this evening. And Thanksgiving is a time when we often think of gratitude and appreciation for others. So we have some nice little gift packaging items that you can share with people, either at the Thanksgiving holiday or throughout the fall. And it's the dark time of the year now, right? In the dark time of the year, may we feel the light that's all around you and through you. Let it shine. So that's Around. Julia might know that song. It's Around. We could sing it together sometime. But in this dark time of the year, it's great to share light and kindness and gratitude with others. So we'll be making these projects this evening. Let's start with our little box and card that coordinate. And in your kit, you'll notice there are supplies to pull out carefully. You want to make sure that you don't lose any of the pieces, because there are some tiny things. And we're going to use the bag for our third project tonight, so keep that handy too. There's a there's an envelope with the card pieces inside, and there is a pile that has a gold foil gift box with the gold foil and the leaves. And we're just going to take this little Velcro piece and save that for our last project. So if you have that in your pile, you can set that aside, and it could be used with either project, but I recommend it for the third project. So this is a little box. There's some stamping that we're going to do using this. This is one of our kits that's available at the library tomorrow. It's a gratitude kit that makes these sweet note cards as well as gift boxes, which would be fun to have on your Thanksgiving table, or to put in the mailbox, or drop off at you can't really put things in people's mailboxes. We're not supposed to do that, but you can put it in underneath in their mailbox if they have a place for newspapers, or you can drop it at their front door. But it's a lovely little gusseted box that you can put a treasure in. So we'll do some stamping first to make our greeting. And there's a little label that has gold foil, and I'm just going to stamp the greeting "Thank you" across here. So this is just a little gift for a teacher or a neighbor or a friend that's going to say thank you for all the ways that they help you during the year. And then we'll take this box. It's already has adhesive and score lines for us. We're going to fold this, and the bottom has 4 flaps, 2 long and 2 short. We're going to get it comfortable just by wiggling it, folding those in before we put more adhesive there. We're just getting them comfortable. And you'll see on the sides, there are gusset folds here. So it's down the side, and then a little triangle at the bottom. So you can push that in. That's just so that your box will have that nice gusset shape. It will stand nicely and open at the top. There we are. So we're to put that together, we want to first put in the sides, the short sides, and then we're going to fold in the long sides. So you really only need adhesive in this one position, and you can use the green glue or another adhesive that you have, or tear and tape will work nicely, but we just need a little bit of glue. I was a little generous there. And that's going to mark the bottom. Now, you'll do your best to make this a right angle bottom. Sometimes it helps if you put it flat, one end flat, so that you can hold the others for that glue to set. Once it's secure there, you can push down maybe with your glue or with a punch or something to help that lock in the bottom, to help that glue bond the paper so you have the bottom. The top simply flips over. And to help that kind of stay closed, I like to roll it forward a little bit so that it's to kind of pinch it a little bit so that the flap will stay down. Now, if you'd like, you can use your Velcro dot for this project, or you can save that for the last project. You could use a glue dot or a Stampin' Dimensionals to secure it. But often when I make goodie boxes, I want them to be reused. So I don't want it to be secured like that. So we'll take
what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah. If you tape it, then people have to tear it, and that
Right.
means they can't enjoy it as much.
Isn't that terrible?
Terrible. Oh, you're full of them tonight, Julia. That's great. It would be terrible if we tore the package. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue with this lovely gold foil. It looks like kind of eucalyptus leaves, I think. And a little bit of glue on the top of the printed die cut to layer that on top. And then we can place our thank you with glue dots or with dimensionals. And I'm thinking there may be a way also to lock this. We've done before where we've locked it with to create a hinge like this. This is a little too short, but to have a piece of paper that would anchor it so that it could tuck in. See how this piece underneath here could tuck in, but I think that might be a little complicated if we had a piece here underneath, like a hinge. But I feel like if you put something special in there and then you pinch it, it will stay nicely. Even if it's flipping up a little bit on the table, it will stand. Okay. Or like I said, you can use your Velcro dot or invest in more of these Velcro dots or other kinds of closure. Now, our second project for gratitude is this sweet little 3x3. Actually, it's bigger than 3, isn't it? It's 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches square card. Now, this is too small to put in the mail with a regular stamp. If you want to mail this card, you'd like to put it into a regular size envelope rather than this small square one. This is too small to go through the regular postage. But it's a sweet card to include with some cookies or some flowers, maybe if you're gifting to someone. It's a great little enclosure. And I love that the envelope has this pretty pattern printed inside. Now you'll notice this blue cardstock is printed to look kind of linen-like. It looks very much like a fabric. And we're going to add just a little bit of tone-on-tone color to this with the Lost Lagoon ink. I'm going to just add some texture, some tone-on-tone texture to the card, that flower design, so that when I rest my little pumpkin gourds on there, they're going to be a little bit anchored with this weighty color.
Yet
Okay?
another reason to have a pad of paper underneath your work surface.
Yes, you always want to have a scrap sheet underneath you, because most of the time when I stamp, I want it to spill over. I want the pattern, think about it like wallpaper. You want the pattern to keep on going and connecting. So most often when I'm stamping, unless it's some kind of label, most often I want it to spill over the edges of the paper. So yes, scrap paper is very important. Now we have another sweet little banner here, and I have a word that says love and gratitude. Let's make sure I don't stamp it upside down. It says, oh, this one says grateful for you. That's a good one. So I'm going to stamp grateful for you on the little banner. And you could handwrite someone's name on your banner, perhaps. This would be a nice place card holder for your Thanksgiving meal. For the guest of honor at your table, you could create a little name tag. And we'll go ahead and put down these die cut pieces, layering them first with the glue so that they're flat to the card. And then the other, I want to put that underneath there. And then the other pieces can be popped up with dimensionals. So it's going to have that height and dimension on your card, which makes things feel really pop up. I think that's a great thing about the handmade cards that we create is we can have that level of dimension using these little pop dot dimensionals. If you don't have pop dots in your collection, dimensionals in your collection, sometimes what we do is take pieces of scrap paper and stack them so that it has a little bit of weight to it. And that's a nice way.
Or take one piece of paper and fold it.
Fold it, yep. So that it kind of fan fold it, and then it will have some dimension to it that way. So this one will just have a dimensional on the side here, so that it will be flat to the orange gourd, but popped up from the blue piece. Yeah. And then we can add that little banner here anywhere we like. Let's put it there. So I'm going to have a dimensional over on the side here. And that way it'll be popped up there, but then flat against the pumpkin. Grateful for you. So again, that could be personalized with someone's name or a little message. And then you could write a special greeting inside for them. Could be a place card for the table or a lovely gift enclosure, or just a love note itself. We don't have to have a gift when we give a card. Just a card is a gift. So it's wonderful to receive. It's beautiful hobby to be able to make a card. It makes me feel good and creative and productive to create a card. And then I also have the joy of sharing it with someone else when I pass it along. So those are a sweet little gift enclosure. And then our last project tonight is a gift bag. And this is made with a paper bag, the paper bag, in fact, that your supplies came in tonight. So what you'll want to do is cut your bag down to 4 inches. And I'm going to show you how I do that. If you have a trimmer, you can use your trimmer. If you don't have a trimmer, you can use a ruler to just mark 4 inches. And the 4-inch measurement is key because of the size of this bag and the pieces that I've prepared for you. But if you are working with different size paper bags, you simply adjust the size of your cardstock. So here I measured this is at 4 inches and the bag is about 6 inches. So when I was cutting the cardstock, I made sure it was longer than 6 inches so that it would hide the bag when we were looking at it from the outside. Now, the inspiration for this project came from my good friend, Debbie Hill, who is a demonstrator with me in Stampin' Up. She lives in Rochester in Spencerport, and she created this for me. She knows green is my favorite color, and she used one of the brown paper bags. So you can find paper bags like this easily at the grocery store or big box store. Usually they come in, 50 or 60 in a package. And so it's a very economical project. And she put some of my favorite candy inside, the York peppermint patty. So it's actually quite a sturdy construction, and you can put quite a bit inside, or you can have it be more flat. So depending on how you want to package and mail this. But to prepare your supplies, you'll want to take the bag and cut it down to 4 inches. Okay. And then we're going to fold down that gusset so that we have the opening can be opened flat. Now I'll show you what I mean. It's going to be like a big rectangle box. Okay. So we're going to decorate the front and the back and add our ribbon and tag. And so once you have your bag cut to that 4 inches, and you fold down this gusset part, then you're ready to take out your other pieces. Let me find mine here. Here we are. Now I want to share with you the dimensions so that you can make something like this again, if you wish to. You want to make sure you pull out the ribbon, and there's one long piece of paper, 2 rectangle pieces of paper. And these are the dimensions. So let me start there before we go further. Okay. So I have my my bag bottom, which is the 4 inches. And then I have a piece of cardstock that's 6 1/4 inch by 6 1/4 inch square, and that's scored at 2 inches. So the ones, if you've picked up your kit, your supplies are already ready, but I do want to give you the measurements in case you would like to fool around and make more of these bags with your supplies at home. So if your bag is 6 inches, you want to add on that 1/4 inch. That's how I got that dimension. If your bag is 5 inches, like the one from my friend Debbie, then you want to make sure it's 5 1/4. So you just basically adjust the sizes based on the size of the bag. Then we have another piece of cardstock that matches, that's 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches. And you might have the Blackberry Bliss in cardstock color in your kit, or the cider, cinnamon cider, which is a yummy color for this time of year, along with Blackberry Bliss. They both would be delicious. And then this yummy gold foil pieces. There are 2 that measure 4 by 6 and 1 6 by 1.5 inches. Now I wrote some tips for myself so I don't forget tonight that I want to stamp and thread my tag onto the ribbon before I attach the ribbon. The reason we want to do that is we're going to be securing the ribbon pieces inside the bag, inside the tote, underneath that bag right here. So we want to make sure we first have our tag ready. If we're going to stamp it or add any other embellishment to it, we want to thread it first. So hopefully we can find my tag. I have my ribbon here, and let's see if the tag is hiding someplace. If it is, I just will explain to you what I do. Sometimes I end up with little bits of pieces left in my stash, and here it is. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my tag first before I thread it onto the bag. And we'll use that Blackberry Bliss color. And I want to show you a new stamp set that I'll be featuring next month at our December class. It's called Humble Home, and it has a fun punch that goes with it. So we'll be making a project that has like the gingerbread house design with it. It's called Humble Home, and it has a nice greeting of thank you, which fits really nicely onto here. So I'm going to take my stamp here, and we'll ink it up. Thank you. And I'm going to just stamp it right onto this tag, the white part of the tag. There we are. That's Blackberry Bliss. And I'm going to keep this one here so you can see, because you might have a different tag than I have. That's okay.
Did it come out backwards?
Is it backwards? Not showing it
Oh,
backwards?
no. Okay, now I can see it. Right.
Okay.
From a distance, it looked very strange.
Yeah, I'll make sure you can see it more closely. So I want to thread the tag through the ribbon, and then I'm going to, let's see, my fingers are already a little bit inky, which is not a good day unless there's ink on your fingers. So no worries about that. I'm going to take the ribbon. Now it's going to be the little handle, and you'll see how I need to thread it through each of these holes. So I'm going to just fold it over to make it a little more pointy and go through the hole on each side. This will just make a little handle for the tote bag. And I'm going to anchor this inside. Before I put my white paper bag in there, I'm going to just anchor it down with a little bit of glue. So I'll take my you can use tear and tape again. I love the tear and tape that I was showing you tonight. Or you can take the green glue or a tape runner, whatever adhesive you use that you prefer. And we're just going to anchor it here. The tear and tape would be a good choice because that works really nicely with ribbon. The green glue sometimes gets soaked up by the ribbon and doesn't, I need a little bit more of it to make it really bond to the paper. But this is just to hold it in place until I put my white paper bag down, okay? So I'm securing that. And I can take my bag, and it's the same front and back now. Remember, I folded the gusset at the bottom so that these sides are both flat. We'll take our glue, a little bit, as my friend Angela says, dot, 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 not a lot, or a little thread. You don't want gobs of glue. And then we're going to position this so just a tiny bit of that color is going to show all the way around, a little bit on the right, the bottom, and the left. It kind of makes it a secret container. You don't know that it's going to be the paper bag when you look at this little purse, do you? Okay, now we're going to take, set that aside, and I have my piece of cinnamon cider paper or your Blackberry Bliss, and pick which one you want to be at the front of your purse tote. Okay, you can decide. I'm going to go ahead with the leaves. I love the bold foil colors. And I'll layer that. This is really just like making a card front. You could decorate this any way you like. And once we have that put together, we're going to add it on top of the bag. There. And this just lines up with the other piece of cardstock underneath so that it's should be pretty close. It might be a little off because humans like me, when we cut, sometimes there's a little variation, but it should layer on top. And then we have a pretty spot, a pretty piece with some birds, or you can flip it over and have that Blackberry Bliss color pattern, your choice. I do like the bird side because I like birds, and I also like the foil, the gold sparkle that's on here. Layer that together. It's the front, and here now I have my tag there. Okay, and on the back, we could leave it plain, but why would we want to? If we had something pretty to put on there, we can glam it up a little bit more with some more foil paper. And then it's ready to fill with something special. I'm going to take the little Velcro dot, and the way I like to do it is I push both pieces together first and peel off one of the little layers of plastic, that liner, to expose the adhesive piece. And I'll put it on my flap. Then I take off the other, keep the Velcro attached, but peel off the plastic. So now when I close this, it will be in the right spot each time for it to open and close. It will line up. Okay. Now you can have it flat, depending on what you put inside your bag. You can have it flat, or when you open it, just push open that gusset, and now you have your bag ready to fill with some cookies or candies or jewelry or all kinds of treasures, some card supplies, some glue, some stamps. You could put anything inside there. So yours will be a little different depending on the color of your paper and the size of your tag and how you wish to decorate it. But I hope that you'll find that inspiring, and perhaps you'll want to create more of these bags. So just look for paper bags. Either, they're going to be, the standard size is usually this little bit smaller size, but I was able to find these little bit larger ones. And sometimes they're in white and sometimes they're in craft. So there are our totes and our little place card holder. And
I'm a little confused about the brown paper. Christine didn't have two pieces in her book, and I have several pieces, but I don't know if they're all what you're calling the brown pieces. So,
okay, so your pieces would either be this this purpley color or the cinnamon color.
right.
But I apologize, Christine, if I didn't put all the pieces in there. There should have been two pieces that are 4 inches by 6 inches.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the cardstock, 2 pieces of cardstock. One is a square, 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and that's the one that's folded and has the holes in it already.
Right. And I didn't get the 6 1/4 by 4 1/4.
Okay, I apologize.
You know, and I could probably find something in my stash that I could probably use.
Yeah, or you can stop by the library, and I won't have it with me tomorrow because I'm not at my studio, but I'm happy to put it in the mail to you. Which
Oh,
color
that's
did
okay.
you have? Did
The
you have
cinnamon.
Okay, so yeah, so your bag right now is just white at the front, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, so you could just put this designer series paper onto the white.
Mhm.
Or you could substitute a different piece of that paper that's
Oh,
6
yeah, the
1/4 by
white
4
doesn't-
1/4.
Yeah, the
And
white
then,
doesn't look bad.
right.
Okay.
Okay, and then the designer series papers are the foily ones, and
Right.
you
I
should have.
have all those.
Okay, oh, good. I apologize. Sometimes
Oh,
I
that's
don't make
okay.
my piles right. So,
That's okay.
great. Well,
I
but
was
it
a
would be
little
confusing
confused.
though to have a missing piece. So we solved the mystery of what was missing.
All right.
And okay, and then the little gusset bag too with that pretty foil. I hope you'll enjoy filling with something to share with someone special during this time of gratitude. I also want to thank Nancy again, Nancy Smith, for sharing the fun idea with our paper organizer. And I'll continue to modify mine and add some more color and design. I really like animals and especially birds. So I might try to find some papers and things that I could do to create some birds on here. And I would love to see what you folks do with your boxes. Nancy said it can even be a storage box for our remote controls for the TV. So you could really use it for storing any kind of anything in your home, and it just will dress it up and share some of your creativity.
Okay.
Thank you, Julia, so much for hosting each month. And I look forward to our next season. Next month, we'll be gathering again for our Zoom class as well as our in-person. So thanks again, Julia. Thanks,
Yep.
Christine and Kathy, for being here tonight.
You got to
Thank
do one of
you.
these. I miss your heart.
Can you see me?
That's
gotta
Can you
turn
see
it.
me?
Turn it. Turn it.
Can you see? Oh, you can't see me?
You got to turn it so your knuckles are away from you.
I don't know why it's doing that.
We're seeing the top
No.
of your fingers.
Oh, because
There we
it's my
go.
hands. There we go.
That's
I'm
it.
sorry. I was thinking it
There's
was
the
on me on
heart.
my face. I was thinking it was on my face. No, much love to all of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.